Okay, so I wanted to make a video going over how King David made changes from the mistakes he made from chapter 13 of First Chronicles when they were trying to transport the Ark of the Covenant versus chapter 15 where he instructed how things should be taken care of and how moving forward that's how all the kings conducted themselves. So this book is called Remember David. It's by William Henn. It gives a great breakdown on the changes that King David made when they moved the Ark of the Covenant from I can't remember his name, Obed something, to Israel. So I'm gonna list them and give a little detail. I encourage everybody to read First Chronicles chapter 13 through chapter 15 to see the incorrect way and then how he corrected himself. So the first thing he did different was he prepared a place for the presence to rest. He did not do that in chapter 13. Then he placed Ark on the shoulders of the Levites instead of on the cart. So he corrected it and made sure that there were Levites to carry the the Ark correctly with the two poles on their shoulders, right? He appointed a leader over the singers and musicians. Now, I didn't realize this. In chapter 13, he basically just like, everybody play your instruments, sing your songs. We're going to praise the Lord while we move the Ark of the Covenant, right? But then in chapter 15, he appointed a leader. And so when he appointed a leader, so it says that he appointed a skillful worshiper. But from this notes, it says that skillful in Hebrew doesn't mean most talented. It meant discerning one. So before they were just worshiping with all their might. But that doesn't mean that they were doing the type of worship that the Lord was looking for. So then when he appointed the leader was leading them in discerning worship. To the Lord, when you just worship and it's not correct, it's just noise to him. Until they learned how to discern what he truly wanted from the singers and the musicians. So somebody anointed to pray and to hear the Lord and be guided by the Lord on what type of praise he is looking for in this service. And the leader can lead the group to give the Lord the worship he's looking for. They also stopped every 6 steps to sacrifice to the Lord. They weren't doing that before. They didn't stop at all for sacrifice before. Okay, here's his name again, where the Ark of the Covenant was. The last time when Uzzah died, King David left the Ark of the Covenant at Obed-Edom's house because he was just like, I don't know what to do. Y'all just hold it. Which was funny because Obed's house was blessed because the Ark of the Covenant was there, but nonetheless. Then King David comes back to, move it to Israel. And they said that it looks like that is probably about 12 to 15 miles from Obed-Edom's house to the city of David. And so that's like 30,000 steps, which resulted in 5,000 sacrifices, or 10,000 if you count that as 2 animals that are being sacrificed. So technically 10,000 sacrifices for the journey. So what to think about in that time is the first time they were just trying to be quick and hurry up and get there, which one is probably why the cart fell. I mean, the ark fell off the cart. You trying to hurry up and get by and just hurry up and worshiping. No kind of structure, no kind of reverence or order. Just hurry up and get this ark over here. Let's praise and run, basically. But when they have to sacrifice 10,000 times, well, now you're taking forever because you have to stop and set up everything to sacrifice these 2 animals every 6 steps. So this time is going to take a long time. And sometimes, like, that's what the Lord wants. It's better to take your time and sacrifice whatever it is that he's calling you to sacrifice than trying to rush through and get from point A to point B. God wanted the Ark of the Covenant to be in the place where David's heart, desired for it to be. But he also wanted them to take the correct steps that he guided them to do and not to rush through it. God is never a God of rushing. He lives outside of time. So if you feel like you have to rush, then it is not of God. If anything, we should be sacrificing time with worship, with service, whatever, whatever he has put on our heart to do. A note William Hinn also listed in this part, he said that in Hebrew, the number 6 represents the works of man. And he said, I believe this means that every time things start to become about us and our works, we need to stop and sacrifice again to the Lord, which was basically what I was saying. So, if you feel like you're rushing, if you feel like you're too busy or you're doing a lot, and even if it's for the church, even if it's for the Lord, even if it's, good for your kids, for your family, if you feel like you're rushing or you're not, or you're just going and going and going, you need to stop and sacrifice and worship the Lord right there where you're at, because you've taken 6 steps and it's time to sacrifice. So these 2 encounters are just a testimony that God doesn't give up on us even though we mess up. And sometimes there has to be extreme measures when we do mess up, so that we recognize the importance or the danger and not realizing how bad it could be, and also that others see as well how important the mistake was, so that we don't lead them down a bad path, because that's the last thing we want to do, especially him as king. He's leading these people. He has a position. He needs to lead them correctly. And so sometimes really hard things have to happen to open up everybody's eyes and get the order that we need in our lives, so that we can all walk the path that God has for us.